I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the crowd. So let go, I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things aren't gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up my door. I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. I won't see your face wherever I look. I'm blinded by the light. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, died a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light. I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the crowd. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things aren't gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up my door. I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. I won't see your face wherever I look. I'm blinded by the light. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, died a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light. I just wanna see the light. 'Cause I just wanna see the light.
Okay, okay. Hello, can you hear me, Alonso?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Oh, okay. How you doing, my dear brother? How was it? Um, it's been a while since we spoke, even met. But I want to welcome you today, on our discussion here. As you know, this is called the Disability Through the Lens. And we are doing this just to elevate discussion around disabilities and to also promote our different issues, organizations, and initiatives that are being carried out by people with disability and also DPOs and experts of people who have interest in their disability issues and also advocate service provider. um, yeah, so basically that's it. So we have Sylvester will be joining us. He's trying to just get in quickly. And the rest of the team, others are engaged with different things. But basically, I want to say welcome. Thank you, bro, for turning up. It's about our issue, disability issue. There is nothing about us without us. So thank you for accepting to come and share your own perspective on different issues. So basically today we want to highlight the impact of the USAID closure, the project closure, and I learned that it was for 90 days, but I think if I'm not mistaken, the 90 days has passed, and there are other things, pertinent issues, projects that were going on through those fundings, but then those projects has come to cease. And so we get your own perspective, and we also want to get some perspective from disability issue in Liberia as well. It's our motherland, and you as a young man, you've been pushing advocacy issue. We worked together before and at the National Union of Organizations of the Disabled. And yeah, so with all being said, I just want to say you're welcome again. And at this time, bro, I just what's up? What's up? What's going on?
Thank you. Most of our colleagues who travel all of Liberia as person with disability, we're not really seeing the impact from them. But when I heard about the show and what you start to do, I say yes. At least you try to connect back home with people with disability to know actually what's happening in Liberia. So thank you for the show actually and for this initiative. It's a wake up call for us in Liberia to do more as person with disability. You were in Liberia, you saw a lot of division between us as people with disability. We're not already getting the support of international partner from the government, and then we have the internal wrangling among us. It has been a challenge for us to, come up with a unified voice to ensure that government prioritize the issue that have to do with people with disability and also international community.
Yep.
To the closure of USAID is
But
actually hit.
before you go there, Alonso, so just for the sake of the audience, I would like you to just introduce yourself and talk about
Okay,
your
so
role in the
I'm
organization as
Alonso.
well.
I'm Alonso Durian Dixon. Alonso Durian Dixon. I'm the founder and executive director for Inclusive Development Initiative. Inclusive Development Initiative is a human rights organization that work on five thematic areas in Liberia, focusing on people with disability. We work in the area of health, focusing on the sexual reproductive health and rights for people living with disability, which of course they have been in Liberia, the issue of people, the sexual reproductive health of person with disability have not been captured in our health development in Liberia. We also work in the area of education, which of course we have been working with USAID, focusing on looking at the enrollment, the retention, the completion of people living with disability in schools, how we can be able to, get on path when it comes to education for people with disability. We work in the area of justice, human rights and justice for people living with disability in Liberia. Look at accessibility for people living with disability and research. Why we focus on research is because there have been no statistical evidence
Yeah.
on people with disabilities since UNDP conducted the last census, which is in the 90s. They did the last census that says that people with disability are 16% of our national population. So
Yeah.
we saw two other censuses that were conducted in Liberia. They just to say focus on education for people with disability, health for people with disability in Liberia. So I'm
Okay.
happy to be part of the show, and I'm open up to working with the team in Liberia, outside the country, and other partners.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Alonso. And I think that was a brilliant one, talking about IDR, Inclusive Development Initiative. And can you talk about some of the projects that some major projects that you've carried out and the impact that have been made in the lives of persons with disabilities? Sorry, guys. The network there in Liberia is terrible. And Alonso basically network has some issue. Um, yeah, but so Alonso will be back, and hopefully, I hope the network can do him justice. To keep him on until we finish our discussion. And so, Alonso organization basically has been working, uh, if I'm not mistaken, for more than 5 years. Been working with people with disabilities. So I think it's a good thing to have him here today to be able to give his own experience and a perspective, and also the work that he has been doing in Liberia with people with disabilities. And as you may know, if you are watching us wherever you're watching from, we want to welcome you. This is the Disability Through the Lens, and we look at disability issue from different perspective. And our main goal is for us to be able to promote and inspire other people with disability, and also encourage them as well to take the lead in the different issues that are affecting them, and they can pick up the mantle and advocate for their own issue. So yeah, I'm excited today. Alonso is kind of testing me. Let me just go. Sorry, guys. Um, um, so please. Okay, okay. Alonso tried to switch his internet and he'll be back on with us. So just to say, so we want to highlight challenges people with disability face. In Liberia, there are numerous challenges that people with disability face, ranging from education, employment, uh, social justice, and a whole lot people with disability go through. And I see that we have the National Commission on Disability and the National Union of Organization Disabled, and the group of 77. I see some division, and people with disability are not coming together, to be able to champion the issues. And I believe that us being apart, being divided, will cause the kind of problem where in government we see that because we are not united, so there are some things that government should be doing or we should be pushing government to do. They will not be doing it, and they're going to sit upon it and overlook our issue. So yeah, but then at this time, we want to look at basically the education issue. Remember last week when I came on? Not last week, but on Monday, this come Monday when I came on, I flagged several issues, around education and empowerment for people with disability in Liberia. And I also call on the National Commission on Disability as well to see lead. There are several students with disability who have dropped out of high school in Liberia. High school, university, and technical vocational trainings. So what we want to do is that to call out government, to be able to cater to some of these needs. That I've been talking to a couple of people, and these people are university students. There are few students who are stable in school. They're in a University of Liberia, and there are few people who are not stable in school, and because of you know, financial issues, they are not stable in school, and they have dropped out. Remember, I talked about the test project, that was funded through the that was funded through the USAID and the unit the Ministry of Education in Liberia was kind of responsible for the test project and also coordinate with universities and other schools around the country to enroll people in the university. So the project basically was being funded by the USAID, and it was also being led by the high education teacher training institutions that were collaborating with the Ministry of Education there. So remember I talked about that. And the number of people with disability that are on this project, is huge, and they've been impacted. These people were people that are less fortunate, you know, and they were able to sign up and enroll into these different universities. But here is it, they are now out of school, and I don't know what strategy or measure government is putting in place, mostly to the Commission on Disability, NCD. What measure are you putting in place to ensure that these people go back to school? If you have not heard about this, you need to start to do your own research, reach out to these students, and get to know their different issues that they are faced with. Why are they not in school? Is it because of the project? What are some fundings or resources they need to go back to school? And I see it to be very, very important. And if this is not done, I believe it is the right of a disabled person to go back to school or to be in school and stay in school. Not just to go to school, but to stay in school and finally come out of school. And that's the most important thing for them. And not just coming out of school again, but to be able to find a job, a livelihood. I see on a daily basis, whenever I put my phone on the internet and Facebook, Instagram, whatever, that people that are on the street begging every day, disabled people, is because these people do not have the proper resources to be able to cater to themselves. So we found out that there's going to be a very, very big problem. All right. So I'm hoping that Alonso will come back because he was switching his internet. Basically, there is this internet glitch in Liberia. So I think there's some work going on, with the cable, and most of the GSM company and internet providers. I kind of down. So maybe that's why Alonso, but I hope that he will come back. And I think uh, it's going to be a good discussion once Alonso comes back. And I believe that, he's because he was one of the implementer of the user project, the IDI was one of the implementer of the user project. So I think I'm looking forward to Alonso there once he comes back, and we can have a very, very good and fruitful discussion here. Um, so, like I was saying, and these people are in the street begging every day, and no one sees, them. Every time the government official passes by, okay, I think Alonso is here. Uh,
Sorry, we have a very bad weather today.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
so
yes.
yeah, with the
But
weather is bad today. We're experiencing heavy storm.
yeah,
So
I learned that there is some work that is being done on the cable there. I think the
on
GSM
the
company.
cable, yeah, on the internet cable. So
Yeah.
that's the
Uh,
reason. One of the reason
yeah.
too.
Okay. Yeah, but thank you. Welcome back, and I'm glad you came back. So, uh, we'll just go straight into it, and we hope that the network doesn't really trip again. That we go through this safely.
So we're using turbo internet now. So because I
Oh,
don't want to
okay.
go all our computer turbo internet.
Okay. Thank you for that, bro. So, I was the question was that what are some of the major projects? I just wanted you to talk about some of the major projects and you've done since you established, and then what are some of the impact that just before we can go to the USAID issue there, just so that our audience can be able to follow and know the impact your organization has made.
So we have been focusing on to our thematic area, which is education and health. So we first started with education project to we did a research, know the causes of the low enrollment, retention, and completion of people with disability in school, because we're seeing around that we have more people without disability going to school, but we have less number of people with disability um, not going to school. And most of them turn to street beggars, come out early in the morning and up to midnight. They are still on the street begging. So we did a research first to know the cause of the low enrollment and retention of people living with disability. And from that research, we start to make our case at the national level to know that these are the reasons that people with disability are not even going to school. So we focus first on research, and from the research, we did engagement with our policy makers, which is our legislators and other educational partners, like the Ministry of Education, the Commission on Higher Education, the National Investment Commission, Ministry of Finance, we did a lot of engagement with them to show that our evidence from the research that these are issues that are affecting the education level of people living with disability and we need improvement. From there, we focus on a project called educational financing because after the research and we started to do a lot of engagement with government officials. The excuse was the issue of disability education is very expensive, so we do not have money now to focus on disability education. So we said, no, there's a law within the Education Reform Act that says that 60% of all concession agreements, and they gave something they call signature bonuses. So
Okay.
as per the law says that 60% of that education bonus for investment, 60% should go to the education sector. So we did another research to know whether all of the concession agreement that have been signed by the Liberal government, whether the 60% for signature bonuses went to the education sector. And if it went to the education sector, portion of that money should be used for people with disability education. So we did a research and it was surprising to know that most of the actors within the sector never had knowledge on that 60% signature bonuses that's supposed to go to toward the education sector. So there was another awareness, there was another engagement with policymakers from our organization to raise more awareness on the Educational Reform Act of Liberia. So
Yeah.
it was actually troubling for us. And then after that, we went to another project called Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights, and we are implementing this project in a coalition with 9 other civil society organizations, and IDEA being the organization that work with people with disability. So we're representing the disability arm within the network. So it's supported by the Swedish Association for Sexuality Education. So
Okay.
our focus is to make sure that sexual reproductive health and rights services information reach people living with disability. So the service to know that whether people with disability have easy access to sexual reproductive health and rights services, and
Okay.
if they need their services when they go to health facilities, whether they can receive this facility these services, and then looking at the environment for which these services are also being delivered, whether it's area that is accessible for people living with disability, or what's the improvement that we need to do. And that's our work we are doing currently in the sexual
Oh,
reproductive health and health area, focusing
yeah.
on menstrual hygiene for people living with disability. So our last project we were on before the closure of USAID was on youth advance. That was a youth advance project, training people with and without disability soft skills for the job market. So we started with a soft skill component, and then this going year we combined it with technical skills because our argument to USAID was there are a lot of people who have graduated from high school have soft skill and they
Yeah.
can get job. People with disability, most of us have gotten our education like others, we get masters, we get bachelor's degrees, and still we can get job. When we apply for a job, they don't look at our ability, but look at people look at our disability. So it will be good for us to combine the technical skill that will help people with disability to become independent. So they agree with us and we're able to add technical skills to the training this going year. We're able to train over 450 youth comprising of
Wow.
people with disability, the visually impaired and the hearing impaired in that training
But let
until
me
the
hold
close
you.
of
Let me hold you right there, Alonso. Like you talk about the research that was done. Which I'm kind of interested in. Like in Liberia, there is not no data. For persons with disability. That you can really relate to when it comes to the numbers, and So was the survey, was it a national wide survey, or was it focused on specific counties? Because and also I also want us to look at some of the findings, why that you found that make people with disability were not in school, which is important. The reason I'm asking this are because I've been having some discussion in the back, and I met Sam Dean, the executive director, at the Global Disability Summit in Berlin. So one of his key issue he was pushing, is about this issue of this aggregated data for persons with disability, which I think is important. And in all walks of life, it's important that we have information on disability issues in terms of education. How many people with disability are in the country, how many people are working, how many people are unemployed, how many people are not in school, and all of that. So was your research a nationwide survey, or research, or was it focusing on few counties?
So USAID have their counties that they work in.
Okay.
So and that's why other international partners that work in Liberia, most of them have their targeted counties that they work in. So USAID has 6 counties that they work in. We have World Bank with the same 6 counties that they work in. So the research was done in the 6 counties that have USAID, that is on USAID, that was on USAID spotlight. So we did it, and these are counties that have high number of people living with disability in these counties.
Okay.
So we dealt with Nimba. Nimba is one of the counties that have high number of people with disability. We have Lofa, we have Bon County, we have Cape Mount, we have Masurado, and we also have Mangibi that we conducted the research in. And these are that counties that have more number of people living with disability in
Okay.
those counties.
But
Yeah.
what were some of the things that that you want to highlight, that you saw in that the fund that you came up with in your findings in the research? You know.
One key area was the issue of schools not being accessible
Okay.
for people with disability. But more often when we talk about schools not being accessible, we found others would say, oh, but for the other people can be able to go to school, which is people without wheelchair, people that
Yeah.
do not use wheelchair, we say no. But when we talking about school being accessible, it should be accessible to all. So schools are not accessible for people with disability in Liberia. Our teachers are not trained into special and inclusive education. We don't have that inclusive learning environment because one of the recommendations in that research report we proposed that um, the C certificate, the B certificate that they gave to teachers, uh, it should be in
Oh.
they should learn how to read the sound, to know the sign language, or know how to read and write Braille before being able to go do their bachelor program. So teachers, we have shortage of resource teachers. Teachers are not trained into special and inclusive education. They have no knowledge on disability. Classroom are not accessible. The watch facility also not being accessible for people with disability because we did a one-on-one interview with some of the people with disability, and they told us definitely that they can manage to go to school, but the washroom are not accessible for people with disability. Imagine someone who in a wheelchair want to free themselves, and
Yeah.
then public area is nothing. So there is no area for say, oh, this bathroom is for people with disability, especially
Yeah.
wheelchair users
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
other complicated disability. So these are some of the things that they said are affecting them and learning.
And yeah.
No learning materials are available to the issue. You were in Liberia, the issue of even Braille. Bro, we don't many Bro machine. At that time when we did, two institutions have Bro machine in Liberia. So now the number have climbed up to 5 because we ourselves we just so
Okay,
that we just
that's brilliant. Good.
yeah, we just purchased one Braille machine so that we can be able to bring educational materials in Braille for the visually impaired and also a health related material also for the visually impaired. So learning materials are not available for in schools for people with disability. Um, Most of the schools do not have sign language interpreters. So if a hearing impaired person go to the schools, they will only get the note that will be, put on a board by the instructors or the handout that will be given to that to that student. So what
Okay,
this instructor will going to be explaining, they will not have no knowledge on it because no sign language interpreters in it. And also the scholarship program. The scholarship program was not capturing people with disability because many of them said that when they apply for scholarship from government, when they're running after it, they used to be bullied. That I mean, we the physical people we don't have scholarship. What the disabled person coming to with scholarship also. So bullying and to get scholarship also prevented them from trying to go to school because they don't have the money to go to school and then they themselves didn't do it. Some of them told us that they are already disabled. They don't have no means of living an independent life and they get their kids. So they prefer prioritizing their kids' education so that tomorrow when their kids can learn, you can be
yeah.
able to take care of them. So all what they do is to go out, find living for themselves and their kids to keep their kids in schools. So
But
it
then
was
also
very, very
let me just hold you. You know, on Monday when I was going live and I make mention of this policy, discrimination, bullying, and also inclusion. So Liberia is lacking behind a whole lot of things, and we cannot achieve what we want to achieve as people with disability if we don't have some laws, to guide us in the process. Like like what you said concerning getting scholarship, and then people with disability being bullied, and also in the classroom as well. There are people who are disabled people who are also being bullied. I know the advocacy is on, and we all are pushing the issue for inclusion for persons with disability, inclusion, participation, all of that. But basically, I see that education issue is a serious and it's very cardinal in our society there, and people with disability needs to be given the chance and to be supported. It is not about favor, but it's our right, for us to be given the opportunity to go to school and to also have higher education and find job moving forward. And so I talk about the policy wherein the government can adapt, discrimination and bully policy. You understand? So it will also serve as a guide, to schools and also as well as to teachers as well. And like you talk about teacher being trained, I think that should be a very key thing. I remember which year I was say 2015 or something. I remember that there was a conference that was held in Kakata, on the inclusive curriculum. And I don't know how effective is this inclusive curriculum right now, whether it is having impact or whether the schools are making use of it. But basically, what I can say is that we need to push the issue of policy. Let's make sure that the laws and other things are are being formulated, because I believe when laws are in place and people are going to take heed, even though our society can be, different. Sometimes we have law, but still people want to do other things. But once we have these laws on the book, and people with disability will now have the opportunity to be able to, show these laws to government. This is why you sign up to, this is why you establish, you need to go by it, and stuff like that. And I think that's important. So I want us to really, I want us to go straight into, because we have a few more minutes, and so we'll be ending at 11:30 your time, and my time will be at 1:30 here. So yeah, I want us to go straight into the USAID issue. And you, as an implementer of USAID projects, you have gotten fundings from the USAID, and not one, not twice. I know on many occasions. And so I want you to tell us, let's look at your organization first. What impact the closure of the USAID project has made on your organization?
So for us, for us, it hit us hard because um, most of our disabled colleagues were looking up to us when it comes to employment, because even the using USAID hire me as consultant to do a market analysis survey, looking at the job market for people with disability. What are some of the things that preventing us from getting job, and come up with findings and recommendation to ensure that we be able to do it. So most of our colleagues who are persons with disability have been looking at us for job and employment, for them to give to provide a job, because some of the program we were implementing, the project we're implementing, we have bulk of them that was employed in those counties that we were implementing the project in. So it set us back with employment of our own disabled brothers and sisters, and even non-disabled too, who were also working with us. So it also do a setback for us. And then that in Liberia, not many institutions work with people with disability, disabled organizations. So we have a lot of international partners here implementing projects, but the issue of awarding projects to organizations that deal with people with disability is actually rare. So it's actually become challenging now for us to get new projects and to get job for ourselves. So that's one of the key impact. And then some of the activities that we were pushing for to see happening for people with disability now have gone to a standstill. And then we think that what we were trying to gain have actually collapsed because
Okay.
of the closure of USAID. Yes, yes.
And so just to ask this question quickly, from your own experience, because you are, implementing partner to the USAID, from your own experience, what are the biggest systematic barrier PWDs encounter, when these development projects and disrupt the project? What are some of the big systematic issues or barriers that you think, that are being faced with right now?
And I get you.
No, okay. I'll say from your own experience, what are the biggest systematic, barrier, like system issue that PWD encounter when development project ends like this?
So, so I will speak directly to USAID because
Yeah.
there are many international partners. I will tell you there are many international partners that are here working, doing a lot of work, and their project, their program do not capture people living with disability. So
Yeah.
for us, for USAID, when we it's a challenge because USAID have been focusing on um, in her envelope, in her project envelope, she have uh, organizations of people with disability inclusion
Okay.
in their system. So one challenge that we were facing as organization of persons with disability to get funding from USAID, most of us, our organization lacks the capacity. We never had the capacity. Most of the organizations, disabled organizations, do not have the capacity to implement projects for USAID. For example, before you implement for USAID, you should have their same number. So it's a USAID number that they use. You have to have that number first before you get that project, before you can be able to win project for USAID. Two, most of our disabled organizations do not have the structure to be able to win project from USAID. Some of the policies that you need to get, they do not have the policies. I mean, bulk of us, we open the institution with the name as an advocacy group, but we lacking the basic policy to be able to implement for other international partners. We have few organizations of people with disability that have that capacity, and then two, I would say the political will. So if government prioritize the issue, if government be intentional to prioritize the issue of people with disability, all partners will be able to work with people with disability and prioritize the needs for people with disability. But the political will had not been there for the past time. So these people still believe in giving us hand up. So I think that's the reason that as people with disability, we still lacking behind. And
Okay.
then two, we do not have a real disability law. Apart from the act established the National Commission on Disability, that's something like 8 or 9 articles within that identical act. But an act, a national act that we will develop to say, oh, okay, this is a Liberia Disability Act that will speak about employment, that will speak about education, that will speak about various things. That's how they have the American with Disability Act and you know, other national organizations that have their own disability law. We do not have it in Liberia, so it make it challenging for us. Apart from the act that established the Commission on Disability and then the the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability, for which Liberia has signed and ratified in Liberia, but the optional protocol had not been signed and ratified. So beside it, we don't have any other thing. So it's one thing that we as people with disability in Liberia need to push for, to develop a national policy, a national act that will be able to speak to all thematic areas concerning people with disability.
Okay. I think I get you on that one, and I think it's very important and that we have a national strategic, plan that also will be able to address those different issues that will be in the policy as well. But then looking at the UNCRPD, the UNCRPD is also a very, very great instrument, and the government has signed up to it. Like you said, in 2007, the government of Liberia signed up to the UNCRPD, ratified. But in the absence of these national, act or policies that will be able to guide, development actors, anybody who just come and just do anything at any time without taking into consideration how to, channel the work through person with disability and how person with disability can be included into the different sectors as well. So yeah, there should be something that would define everything. Even though we have the convention that talks about the different issues like education, employment, and the data issue and all of that. But Liberia as a country also needs the kind of policy that will be able to guide every development aspect. I see sometimes even public works, carrying on projects and without uh, any expertise from a person with disability or someone who has an idea on disability issues. They just go about. We don't see the tata pavement and and a whole lot of different things on our road. And I remember one time you brought up that issue about the tata pavement for NCD to carry out, but that's when PayBay was there. But I think they overlook it, But I believe that what you're saying, that's very, very brilliant. And that could be, one of the work you can get engaged into, and start to engage, other stakeholders and important relevant DPOs to see how you can push for, a national strategic plan, not just for 2, 3 years, but maybe uh, 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 5 years, 6 years, and you have a monitoring strategy into place as to whether the things will be will be implemented as well, you know. But let's go back to the issue of the USAID, and because your own organization IDI, has been a key part of the projects in Liberia, and so I would like to know also, um, how can your organization, like your organization IDR, and advocates push for more sustainable inclusion uh, in donors funding program. Now we know that the USAID, has shut down. I don't know when they are coming back, but how do you think with your own expertise and understanding and working in the NGO sector in Liberia?
So one good thing that the USAID project did for us when we were implementing for them is also brand our organization, because when you're implementing for USAID, you are allowed to carry all their logo for branding purposes. When you having any activities, you have to have USAID logo on any program, on the banner, on the program sheet. You have to have USAID. So at the time we were implementing those projects for USAID, it brought us with the government and other international partners that we were inviting to our program, and other activities that we were having at the national level and also at the county level. So most of the international partners start to know about IDI, the work we are then doing, and basically some of them have also been inviting us to some of their programs. Like next week, we're going to be part of the curriculum review to see how Liberia educational curriculum can be inclusive of people with disability. And we are two institutions that have been invited for that program. It's a World Bank program in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. So the Christian Association for the Blind and then Inclusive Development Initiative have been the two institutions that have been invited for that program. So we also been participating in other international programs. Like currently, I tell you that we are working with the Swedish Association for Sexuality Education, focusing on sexual reproductive health and rights, and portion of that component also in our educational curriculum on the
Okay.
issue that have to do with um, girls retention, menstrual hygiene, and watch activities. Also focus in the educational envelope. So we have been doing a lot of engagement, sending a lot of communication out with the other international partners, asking for our audience so that we can be able to show them our activities plan, what we have plan to do for people with disability in Liberia. And we have sent communication to the Ireland embassy, to um, other international partners, asking for audience, asking them whether they can be able to support some of our program activities, and we do it. Um, well, now we are doing self-funding activities. Some of the activities we are doing is self-funding to just keep people with disability on track, and also branding the institution that yes, that's part of the USAID project, because we are doing what we call sustainability plan. So like I don't want to be like USAID close and then our whole activity close. So we have been doing our self-funding activities to ensure that we stay on track while we're looking for other partners to come work with us. Like you were saying, I developed a concept note, the full proposal on the accessibility for pedestrians with disability, which of course we stay looking for partners to work along with us, and to also do training for the Liberia National Police, especially the traffic division, and then the sidewalk, how the sidewalk should be looking like. I mean, a lot of project we have planned, and we're just doing a lot of engagement with other international partners to see whether they can buy the idea to work along with us to be able to implement this project that we have planned already.
Yeah. I think that's a good one. And we ourselves, in time, we will see how best we can make some connection. Because Liberia is the only place we have, and for us who have the passion, to change the life of people with disability, though we found ourselves in the condition, and but we also have the passion, to make sure that our counterparts, who are striving, and that the lives, be changed some way somehow. So yeah, I think that that's important. And also, I want to ask, how is your work? All within all of your work that you've been doing, and have you been able to work with the Commission on Disability? What are some of the projects that you work along with, or what are some of the issues that your organization have offered? Because I know you also involved with this advocacy, and and so what are some of the uh, critical issues?
So for the past administration that were at the National Commission on Disability, I met with them doing the I think first or second year in office, and then I share with her some of the blueprint, the executive director at that time, some of the blueprint of the activities that we think that need to be done in Liberia. One was the issue of the accessibility, the safety of pedestrians with disability, that I did the the blueprint on how the sidewalk should be looking like, how the crosswalk should be looking like, um, and then give her the full proposal on what we can do to be able to achieve that. But things never went well, so I have to, distance myself a little bit from um, the commission, because what the commission were prioritizing at that time, because that's a political area. I mean, it was not captured in our organization activities. So we have to leave and then try a different area to be able to see whether we could be able to achieve some of our activities that we have planned. So for the new commission that's currently been appointed by the president,
Yeah.
I spoke with him shortly, that I told him that, and he himself said that he wants us to work together to see how best we can be able to um, see that people with disability be on path with others. So I'm open to working with them, and still waiting for him to schedule a meeting that he and myself will sit down and then see where we could be able to work together. I know that both of us, I was to be part of that trip to Berlin, but I have to drop because of my school. I'll be
Okay.
getting my first master's degree, so I couldn't leave my last semester at home. So he was actually going to go against me because at somewhere he wanted us to meet and discuss in full, but I was not able to go on the trip because of my school business. So I'm hoping, I'm still waiting for the new commissioners to schedule the meeting that we'll be able to see where we can work together, because I certain part in our work, we also need government. We will need government to push for that, things to happen within the educational or other area that have to do with people with disabilities. So I'm still
Yeah.
waiting on the executive director to schedule that meeting.
So let me just push you small. Let's go on to that. I know we're not going to be real political, and but I just want to get some feedback from your own standpoint. Now you're speaking as Alonso, now not Adi. I remember Adia is non-political, right? So
Yeah, we are.
that's yeah. So I want to know, with the new administration, I think they've been appointed from last year, was it in May or April or something, and they have gone more than a year now. And do you think this administration is kind of working and prioritizing disability issue? Do you think they have any plan to change the lives of persons with disability, looking at the condition of people with disability currently in Liberia? And most time, I'm asking this question because we know we all are part of the bigger chat room there, and there are a lot of issues that are being raised. And I remember the other time there was some protests being talked about, and stuff like that. But from your own perspective, do you think the administration, is working for people with disability? I mean, the Commission on Persons with Disability, and do you think they are in the right trajectory, or do you think they have a lot, to put together? And if you think that they'll be able to make some significant impact as well before the regime comes to an end, looking at the way things are going.
So, so one thing I think the commissioner need to focus on um, is to stop what we call a hate messaging. So you come to power, you work with the past administration, you work with the past administration as advisor. You serve until the past administration left from power and you became the head for the National Commission on Disability. So what they need to do is to um, forget about coming on social media, going on electronic media, criticizing the past administration. We know that every time when new administration come to power, they will always say like the past administration damaged the system.
Yeah,
But it's for you who think that the system that you met have been damaged to work to improve it. In the time you taking to go on various social media platform or electronic media to be, criticizing the past administration that you work in, is for you to sit down with other people who other you were in the advocacy, um, to see what they can be able to do positively to change the life of the disabled community. Moving, going on this money, the money that you're using to go on a various platform, you can use that money to, strengthen some of the activities that need attention within the disabled community. So when we stop going after our other leaders,
yeah,
then we will be able to make a mark. Two, is for this administration to fight to get that political will from the executive like what the past administration were having. The past
Yeah.
administration had connection with the executive, you know, about the past administration. So you found out that most of the time you will find the past executive will be giving assistance to the disabled community, giving them empowerment fund. They gave them empowerment fund. They gave them money to start their own business. Give them full attempts during certain time of the year. Compared to this administration, is rare. We yet to see that closeness of the commission to the executive. And you know that in Liberia, the government feed the disabled community 2 times in a year
Yeah.
during our independence and during the Christmas
Christmas.
festival.
Yeah.
So it will surprise you that last year we did not see anything from the executive.
Okay.
So if I think that if the current administration do not fight to try to be closer to the executive, I mean, we will not go anywhere. Looking
Yeah.
at the challenge now we are faced with the cut of USAID, because you know that up to like 40 to 50% of our budget and of our activities in Liberia for government was covered by USAID funding. And now with USAID not being in the country, the commissioners need to push harder to ensure that the executive do not leave people with disability out, because there will be a lot of cut in some of the budget, some of the activities of government. Is for this administration to push the current leadership at the National Commission on Disability to push to ensure that the budget that have to do with people with disability not be cut, cut, or not be leave or to say or forget about the disabled community at all. So they need to bring in more technical people on board,
Okay.
need to bring more technical people on board with that ideas. Let us forget about what the other executive know. By moving our other leaders work together as a team to strengthen the disability community. For me, I don't believe it. When I see people with that negative energy, especially pushing towards fighting one another in the disabled community, I distance myself from them. They are doing well. The setup is good because the past administration tried their best. They gave out an office, a good office, and then we expecting now this administration to pick up from where the past administration left them, left and the activities before they could take over. So I think that the current administration can do more when they put all of the disabled actors together, forget about what the past administration did and that is not in the interest of the disabled community, then look at the way forward. And
Yeah.
instead of us pointing finger, let's look at the way forward, and then we can be able to do more. So, but the first thing this current administration at the National Commission need to do is to get closer to the executive. From being closer to the executive, we think that more the government can be able to do more.
Okay. Yeah. I think I like that. Is there's a need to be closer to the executive. But one thing I also want to flag is this issue of celebration. The working celebration, the RTPD celebration, which year international, which year, and international Deaf Day. And I see that our own issue that we were pushing before, that all of these things you have to spend money on them, and it's just about merit making and not about doing the right thing, for the general population of persons with disability to benefit, you know. And I saw the International Day of Persons with Disability that was held in Nimba County, where we have people there, performing, and there were, I think it's kind of merit making, but I believe on this kind of day, people should be able to, set a mark, leaving a legacy, maybe coming up with a project that will be visible to the general population of persons with disability, maybe raising fundings to carry to put disabled people into school. Because sometimes when you raise this money and you go and buy food, buy or different things, then you come back and start looking for another money to be able to fund project. You understand? So I
Yeah.
believe that it's a very cardinal issue that the commission has to put in place. I spoke to Mr. Dean, and he said yes, that was great, and he will see how to work on it. So, but I also want the civil people in Liberia to not just see always the charity model, but they should look, push government now to support them and how for them to be independent, which I think is very, very cardinal to their livelihood. You understand? So yeah. So and if you still want to kind of talk more on this, because I wanted to know, as to what are some of the the structure and system that they have put in place. Like you talk about the need to bring all of the best brains together. And we want to be on this side also to give advice, because I told him that no man is an island. We all need to come together to make things work. If you think that if you call other people, they're going to take away your job, and you're not going to succeed. So leave that aside. Call people who you think that have the ideas and have the expertise, like you, Alonso, and couple of other people, that can, give their own quota to the commission to improve the system there, so that people with disability can also, benefit. And I wish that one day we'll come and talk about the national budget as well. The amount there that is placed in there for NCD, which is not anything significant. I can tell you for sure, with the huge kind of work that needs to be done in Liberia with persons with disability. When you talk about it, people say, "Oh, and at least the money, at least the money is okay." At least the money, and also the reason why government is now also giving more funding, because there is no plan. You need to present a budget that has a full plan, and let the plan also let disabled people themselves need, go through it and know what is in it for them. You understand? So yeah, on that aspect. So looking at all of these factors, do you think that there is prospect? Do you think there is prospect? Let's be honest to the discord.
So thank you. One of the things that I did for the disabled community and for myself, I, prior to you leaving, I had a good job. I was working with the UN, and I saw that most of the technical person in the disabled community, all of us, when we got job elsewhere, that were not focusing on people with disability, and we saw the disabled community, like the lack of Francis, they
Correct.
know Brian, Connor, every one of us, at the Abraham and myself were with the UN
Yeah, yeah,
in Liberia. So we saw that there's a need that we come back to our community, because those who think they need help. They need help for us to back them up to be able to do it. So, and I remember it was 6 months of my contract, and I told them, my people, that I was going to leave the UN to come back to the disabled community to serve the disabled community. And some of my work may ask why I told them my reason. So my main reason of coming back is to help the disabled community. The opportunity that I got to get my education, which will also help other people the same way to get their own education and to
yeah,
change their life today. I mean, today sometimes, so coming to the celebration, myself, I've been looking at it in different form. Like most of the time, we will find out that the other group will say that UNDP will say will be responsible for the lodging of the guests to where you'll be. having the program, will be responsible for the transportation. But I told her this is not, something that we want. The same thing we're talking on government, we say government only come to us 2 times in a year. Then UN too doing the same thing, come to us 2 times in a year, doing the celebration of the Working Day and the International Day of the Person with Disability. We think it's not enough. We need to do more. So, I mean, most of the guys were not getting what I was actually trying to say. So what my organization have been doing for the past years, that's what you're saying. We go into project activities. On that day, we launch a program that we use that time to raise awareness. Because if you look at the celebration of the the the, the International Day of Person with Disability, it's a day to, raise awareness, tell
Reflect.
probably reflect on some of the challenges that people with disability have been and having in the country, what the change we need, what need to be done. And to be frank, more people don't know actually, even ourselves as disabled people, we don't even know our disabled law. We don't know law that protects us as person with disability. We don't know anything about ourselves as people with disability. So we use that time, we have been using that time to even educate our disabled colleagues about their rights as persons with disability, educate their family, their relatives, their teachers. So we are in other counties for the celebration. I remember 2023 was in Bomi. This going year was in Bon County,
Moba.
Parala. Or
Oh,
we go
okay.
to the rural area, Parala, to celebrate for this celebration. This year we're going to be in Papolu. We're going to be in
Okay.
Popolu. We're going to raise a lot of awareness, a lot of project, a lot of program. We use that time to raise awareness, launch a project, activities, in that identical surrounding. So when we're leaving, we establish a structure. Then we start working with that structure. Now, when you go to bombing, RDI is reflected in bombing because we have our focus person that working. We when we're doing activities, we get in touch with our focus person there so that they can also be part of what we are doing in Monrovia. So I think the way in which the celebration have been going on by NUOD and that of the National Commission on Disability need to be improved and need to be improved a little bit so that after the celebration, we should see a change, not just about what they're going to get in the merrymaking, but there should be a change towards that identical celebration, and I know that will be for that year. So that's what we actually been doing for the past year. So we actually focus on launching our project activities on that day, not just only about merrymaking.
Yeah, yeah, and not just about merit making. That's it. And let me also go to Newark. I know we've talked about NCD and Newark. We both have been to Newark, and I know there's kind of controversy that's in Newark currently. You know, if I'm not making mistake, Abraham Kane, who was elected as as the vice president on administration, I'm not too sure that he's still there working. And uh, what is it that's going on with Noah? Because Noah is the it's in the civil society area, and Noah also has a huge responsibility to be able to push these kind of issues that we are talking about here. And we see across Liberia the challenges, humiliation and discrimination that person with disability are going through, you know, and people with disability. Every time you go to Vamuma, you see a lot of people on the street, and it's like when you go there today, you see 10%. Tomorrow you go there, you come out, you see 15. The next day you see 20. The numbers are increasing, and I believe that there is no attention, that is being given to these people. NUO as an organization and civil society body does not have that capacity to be able to stretch hand, but I think what she has is her voice, and that gives her that the space to be able to talk about these different issues that people with disability face. But the only time I saw the Noah talking is was I think after the appointment was made, and the few occasions that different things were talked about, and then I saw the commission and Noah were at the meeting and stuff like that. But since that time, I've not seen Noah, in the media space talking about these issues. What is going on, with Noah? Do you have any idea? Is there any way that, Noah needs to be revamped? And is there any way that some of us who've been around, can come in, not to be in leadership, but we can offer our own, ideas and stuff like that?
So I served in Luo for 4 years, and as a volunteer secretary. And the reason of going there was to help build up NUOD, because we saw that NUOD, being a model organization for all organizations of persons with disability, need to be, we saw that it need to be strong enough in advocacy and in capacity. So we went there. I worked with the past our late President Naomi, then up to the interim leadership before we went to election. So I think after the election, before the election, there are a lot of things I was pushing to be changed in new. Saw it that I was like not on the same path with them. One thing was like blinking the politics, going too much into the political area, instead of being a civil society organization for us and just pushing, they had like too much closeness with the past administration. And it was not bad to say, oh, to be working with the past administration, but focusing deeply into politics. That's something that I was not.
Okay, guys. The network, network. But this is what we do: discuss disability issues, trending issues, and other issues that are affecting disabled people. Also, the progress that they are making as well. Um, the network. Remember, I said that there's some network issues in Liberia, and so we are coming to the full closure of this program and disability through the lens. Audience, wherever you are following us, this is disability through the lens is where we discuss pertinent issues about people with disability. We bring in lawyers, we bring in activists, we bring in advocates, we bring in people who have interest on disability issues, who wants to know how they can change the disabled community. So to discuss and to also share their own perspective. And at this point in time, we want to say thank you wherever you are uh, watching us, and we appreciate you turning in. And we also want to ask you to continue to share, like, comment, support our show. People with disability, I marginalize people with disability are being discriminated against, and people with disability are being put aside from development issues in the country. So that we need to now start to see how disabled people can uh, be on the table to discuss and make suggestions on development issues, that will also affect their lives as well. So thank you, audience. Wherever you are and you were watching us, we want to say thank you today. I think it was a wonderful show. Uh, we never had Alonso to give his own parting statement, but I know that we will try to bring Alonso back and we will talk about these issues. And I believe that's a lot more bigger issues and things that we need to talk about. And Alonso might come back with another person from Nigeria. So I'll be Alonso will be coming back. I'll try to get back to him, and we also want to get perspective from a Nigerian person, to make that comparison. Uh, a Nigerian person from the NGO sector there, so that they are both can, be able to share that own perspective here as to what is unfolding, since the closure of this USAID project. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. And I want to say, have a good Saturday. Enjoy your day. See you. Bye bye.
I'm fed up with changes. Come pick me up, cause I just wanna see the light. I wanna be weightless. Teach me to fly, I won't be coming down. Could somebody wake me up? I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. Yeah. I just see her face wherever I look. She's standing in the crowd. So let go. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. I'm so sick of waiting and getting too restless to be in this dusty town. I've heard of this place where people forget and you get another try. So come open up my door. I don't wanna be here and let the world pass me by. I won't see your face wherever I look. I'm blinded by the light. I don't want to, but I'm gonna try. When she left me, yeah, let a little bit inside. You know, maybe things are gonna be alright. Cause I just wanna see the light. Yeah, I just wanna see the light.